dead.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another DDLIVE. Gonna be a fun. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing in his house? I think we've been running a good track record of doing these week to week. I don't have my beanie cap on. What the fuck? I'm scrambling trying to get 18 things done in a row, and the one thing is I forgot to put my beanie cap on. But you know what? We'll go commando. We'll go commando this time, right, guys? Why not? Hell yeah! Love you guys. Chris Snyder, what's up, brother? Polly, Tom Ungren, Adrian James, Gory Tiger, Rosalia, Polly. I said Polly. Chester, how you doing? Wesley, Sebastian, yeah. Evening, everybody. Trina, how are you doing? Have a drink for me, Trina. Have a drink. Nuclear Fusion. Rick Hunter, how are you doing? Stu lives. I hope so. I would like Stu to live. All right, let me turn this off. Man, I got a jam-packed show for you guys, and damn, I'm still gonna have like funnies. You guys, I only have like 7 funnies or something like that. So if you guys want, we can front load it with the funnies, just to wet your whistle. I got a couple little things, news stories I can cover. Nothing too crazy, but you're all here for the big event, the ranking of Halloween and Scream. I figured since there's 6 Scream movies now, it'll be kind of, it's not even, of course, because Halloween still has 13 freaking movies, but you can kind of, it's a little bit more fun, I guess, to rank this. And I will say, this could be a Halloween sandwich with a nice creamy Scream center, right? or Scream could be at the end of it and at the front of it. Who knows? Right? And I tell you, I put my list together yesterday. Wasn't easy. And I will say this right now, too, as a bonus, you're going to get a different Halloween ranking. Every time I go and rank Halloween, there's a little something different every single time, because I go off what my current mood is, I got to go off how I'm feeling at the time. I'm not the type of guy that it's going to be the same exact thing every single time. And I get shit for it. But it's just the way I am. And I can't do anything about it. I can't apologize for it if I'm not sorry for it. That's just the way I am, I even, because I always get a couple of commenters, they get pissed off at me if they exaggerate, though. They say that you would think that I thought Scream 6 was like the worst piece of shit on the planet. When I said we're not talking about Seed of Chucky, okay? It's still a Scream movie, okay? I think the look I had was disappointment, all right? And I guess my disappointment face isn't a fun face to look at, all right? Maybe that's what it was. But, I had too many things in my head when I watched it the first time. But when I went back and watched it the second time, just relaxed and just sat back and enjoyed, because I knew everything, enjoyed it quite a bit more. Does that mean it went from 1 out of 5 to 5 out of 5? No, that means it went from like 2.5 out of 5 to 3.5 out of 5. Not a big deal if you ask me. Not a big deal. Kinsey, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here. Blu-ray addict. Yes. Seeing some more faces pop in. Nice. This one's going to be fun, though. This is going to be fun. You know what? I'll start off by giving you guys, because a lot of you have asked me, where is the Scream documentary, okay? This was it was a double kick in the nuts, all right? And you know what? I'll start at the beginning. I woke up one morning and I noticed I got an Instagram message from one of my followers, and he said, "Lee, where is the Scream doc?" And I was like, "Oh, he must not have the link." So I went over to YouTube, and I looked on my videos, and boom, it wasn't there. I was like, "Oh shit, what the hell's going on here? And I guess, long story short, the video was taken down for copyright, but to make matters worse, I got a strike. All right. So I guess a little bit of YouTube 101 for some of you that might not be aware, but you are gambling when you use copyright. That's what it is. It's copyrighted material. I pulled from hundreds of sources for that documentary, 3 months of work. Okay. The way this process works is when you first upload a video to YouTube, YouTube is going to run through its checks. That's what they did. And I let it sit there. It took like a couple hours. They ran through all the checks. And then they said, okay, this is going to be claimed by various parties, which I fully expected. Got no problem with that whatsoever. Never intended to make a dime off of this documentary. This was a labor of love. All right. And I'm glad YouTube does their checks, because that way down the road, there's, no surprises, or at least I thought. All right. So just recently, I found out that one of the sources that I used, he didn't like me using his footage, and so I don't know if he had anything to do with the actual strike. He just wanted them to take it down, which I'm not mad at that guy at all. I'm not mad at that person at all. It's your content. And you have every right to say, I don't want this channel to use my content. And that's completely fine. So I don't fault that guy. As a matter of fact, because it'll show you their email. I sent the guy a personal email. Before I went through the YouTube claim system, I literally sent him a nice, long, detailed email describing the documentary, describing who I am as a person. And no response, but that's fine. So then I did the YouTube claim system, and I can tell you guys right now, and I haven't told them, I don't care if the doc's up or not. Again, as a matter of fact, I kind of rather it not be up, just so I don't have to go through this process again. I just want the strike removed. That's basically what I said. And I have the documentary on my hard drive still, and I went ahead and removed the Halloween documentary too, just to avoid this happening again. Because the lesson I learned from this is that just because YouTube does their checks doesn't mean that down the road a third party can't, throw out, whatever, saying, hey, that's mine. So that's just the way it is. Sometimes people don't want their content being used, and, that's fine. I learned a lesson from it all, because this is not my normal content on YouTube. 8 years into YouTube, I've always done pretty much, I've stayed in a certain lane. I've never done the spoken word, video essay types of videos. But I always like to challenge myself. And this isn't, honestly, to give my wife credit, this is an idea that she came up with. Let's make a documentary. And I was like, yes. Okay. I've been looking for the next big thing. I've done top 50s, top 25s. I'm always trying to push the envelope. Every year I try to give myself a new challenge. And, I guess sometimes that challenge, you might not be so lucky being able to put it out. So, it hurt, it stung, but I'm good with it now. I think it's been about a week since it happened, and I was down in the dumps for a couple of days. I was just like, just because of the work, I felt bad for my wife because she put a lot of work into it. It wasn't an easy phone call to make to her. I was at work at the time, and I told her, I was like, yeah, all that work we put into it, it's down the drain. But hindsight, no regrets. I'm still happy that I put in the work. I learned a few new editing tricks that I kind of taught myself along the way that I can use now in my videos, which is cool. So if anything, I just look at it as it's an experience, and it was cool. So I've gotten back up. I'm the type of person that, you know, I'm not I'll just lay down there forever and just sulk. No, I'm not that type of person. Life goes on, I get up and I move forward. And so that's what I did, right? And so I'm in a better place now. I'm definitely in a better place. But like I said, yeah, the documentaries are both down. Don't want to go through this again with Halloween. And, you know, just thank you. I'm glad that some of you did get to see the I mean, 30,000 of you watched the Scream one, and over 20,000 of you watched the Halloween one. And you know what? That makes me so happy. The freaking comments that I got from you guys about those documentaries, it really lifted my spirits. It did. And you know, because, you know, when you've been doing YouTube 8 years, you do start going down you know, I don't know, you start questioning your sanity after a while. And I was just, you know, it was a boost that I needed. Even though it's gone, it's still, looking back, I take the good from it. And I apply it to whatever I can, and I move forward. So that's good. That's good. I got, by the way, guys, too. I got 2 waters. I have been on a water diet this week, trying to get a little healthier, maybe lose a little bit of weight, and I'm really trying to give up Monster, if I'm being honest. All right, and I love Monster. I haven't fully, you know, quit Monster. I had 1 Monster today. All right, I'll admit that, but I'm drinking a lot less, and I haven't had a soda at all. So I'm drinking a lot less soda, a lot less Monster, and my goal is to like fully give up Monster, just because I think that it's horrible for me, and I've always knew that it's horrible for me. But you know what? I've been drinking water all week for like 90% of the week. I've been drinking water, and I thought it would be harder than it is, but it was. You know, it's actually been pretty easy because I'm pretty much full when I drink water, and I'm not like craving soda. And so now I have water with every meal. So I encourage you guys to do that too. I'm telling you, I noticed the pounds started shedding off like almost immediately. It was cool. Okay. Now, let's see. How should I start this thing off? Oh, by the way, you might wonder, because I've never shared this story, how did I get hooked on Monster? You know, I'll tell you this right now. In the military, militaries have, they're pretty much convenience stores, but in the military, they're called shopettes. Okay. Some of you that might have served in the military, you know what I'm talking about. In the military, and I believe still to this day, number 1 drink in shopettes is energy drinks. And I think it's Monster. It might be Red Bull, but I think it's Monster. You know, for ages and ages, it was Mountain Dew. But then when Monster and energy drinks came on the scene, man, I think it is an addictive drink. And a lot of military guys and civilian folk, they need that kick. And I'll tell you, a lot of military guys throughout the day, we would drink Monster. And the way I got hooked on it was 2012, Afghanistan. And I hadn't really drank any energy drinks before that. And I had a crew of guys. I think there were like maybe 6 or 7 of us. And one of my buddies bought me a Monster, and I drank it. And at first, you know, I was like, ooh, but then you start getting like addicted to it and used to it. And so what happened was, there were like, let's say there were 7 of us, and we would alternate who bought for all 7. So I would have to buy every 7th day, you know? So it was like I was getting a free Monster for 6 days in a row. So that pretty much caused me to get hooked on Monster. And there's been, so 2012, what is this, 2023? So 11 years I've been drinking Monster. Jesus. And I will admit, you know, it does give you a nice little high at first when you drink it. And you know, like while I'm recording videos, I would get, like, it became such a habit that I couldn't sit down and record any video or review or anything unless I literally had a Monster sitting next to me. Because it was just, I'd want to sip on it as I'm talking. And I felt almost naked without it. You know, I felt like something was missing, and I would try to do some videos without it, and like I said, it just felt, I don't know. I got hooked. I did. So my last couple of videos, though, I've tried to do it without it, and I just drink water, and it's not bad. It's not bad to do, as long as I'm like, you know, because it's good for your vocal cords to get some liquid in there, and I don't know, it gives you a little bit of energy when you're doing it. But I'm trying. I don't drink beer. I've never been an alcohol drinker, but you know, I always say we all got our vice. Some have more than one vice. And I guess mine's always been like freaking energy drinks and soda, you know. And soda's another bad one. I used to drink. I used to have like a soda with every meal or sweet tea. I still drink sweet tea though. I do love sweet tea, but I'm trying to get it down to sweet tea and water. Okay. All right. So let me read some of your comments real quick. Hold on. Me too. I like caffeine to record videos when we're playing the guitar, but I drink too and get jittery and sweat. Yeah, the jitters is not a fun thing. Like after a while, you crash, you know, and I don't like that feeling of crashing after a monster. It's ridiculous how we can occupy Afghanistan for 20 years for the sake of petroleum. I'm not going to get into politics. How about coffee? I've never been a coffee drinker, JW. What's funny is my sister is a coffee drinker, and both my parents are coffee drinkers, but I've never been a coffee drinker, ever. So, how about, and I know you guys are probably getting impatient for the ranking. We're going to get there, but I'm giving you a full show tonight. How about we start off with a quick review? I think it's over here. No, it's over, is it here? No, it's not over there. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to record a quick reaction or anything. And I saw Shazam, Fury of the Gods. This will be, I guess, my quick little review for that, because in order for me to log my Rotten Tomatoes review, I got to publish something, right? So I'll give you my quick down and dirty on Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Now, I will say the first Shazam, I wasn't a big fan. It's fine. I do think that they were trying a little too hard to copy the Marvel formula, which that's fine to me as long as the jokes are funny. As long as, and I will say there are some fun moments in the first movie, and I'll say I like the first movie better. Now, just to give you a frame of reference on where I stand with the DC universe, I am a DC guy, but I happen to be a massive fan of Zack Snyder's trilogy. All right. Everything outside of that, I go from it's okay to I hate it, you know? But I absolutely adore Zack Snyder's trilogy. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, preferably Ultimate Cut, and Justice League. I think those three movies, especially when you watch them like together or over 3 days in a row, for me, they're like perfection, okay? I adore them. I like the darker tone. I think that's refreshing, especially considering today, it's like everything Marvel puts out, you got to be slapping your knee. You know, you got to be slapping your knee. And guys, let me know if you in the comments how are you feeling about comedy in superhero movies? And don't get me wrong, Superman 1978 had some great comedy in it. I'm not saying I don't want comedy at all in superhero movies, but I don't want them to be considered comedies. Superman 1978 is not considered a comedy. It's a superhero movie. But it's almost getting to the point where comedy takes precedence over everything else. Some of you like that, not me. It takes me out of the movie, because when I go to any type of genre, I guess I situate my brain for that specific. Like if I go to a horror movie, I kind of want to be thrilled and scared and all that stuff, you know. If I go to a comedy, I want to be laughing my ass off. If I go to a superhero movie, almost kind of like an action movie, I want there to be some comedy in there, you know, but I want to be thrilled. I want to be entertained. I want to be like, holy shit, did you see that guy flying out of the helicopter? And yeah. So anyway, back to Shazam though. Let me take another drink. Jesus. Now, first up front, we all know that God, why am I drawing a blank? James Gunn. Yeah, we all know that James Gunn has taken over the DC universe. He has his own new plan. He's got Elseworlds. So there's 3 movies that are, they're in the can, and so they can't just throw them away. So let's put them out. And so they put out. Holly, Deadpool is a great example where that's one exception where comedy, because I view Deadpool as a comedy. I really do. And it's hilarious. Okay. But you had Shazam, Fear of the Gods. You had The Flash. And then you have the new Aquaman. And these movies are in a weird place because they don't really matter. No matter what. Like Shazam could have been, the most amazing comic book film ever made. And according to James Gunn's plan, it's not going to matter. They're not going to greenlight a sequel, because then that's really going to screw things up. Although, under Elseworlds, guys, and let me know if couldn't they qualify under Elseworlds if they wanted to continue? I don't know. But overall, guys, I didn't care for this movie at all. The villains, I can't remember the names of them, but it's Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren. I just didn't find them effective. And that's not because they're women. I think it's just because when you have gods as your villains, you can kind of get yourself in trouble. I used to think when I was a little kid, the more powerful, the bigger the villain, the better, because I didn't know any better. But as I'm getting older, it's the more human the villain is, the more sadistic the villain is, the better. Joker is a great freaking example. That's a guy who has no freaking superpowers, and he chews up scenery. You can't help but love him at all. Okay. Nighttime, Lucy Liu, Kill Bill. I'll take that all freaking day. You will listen to every fucking word I have to say. Yeah, give me that all day. I love that. Hell yeah. But these 2 villains felt extremely generic. Again, they're obviously trying to copy the Marvel formula, but the problem is the jokes aren't too funny. And honestly, guys, the best part of this movie was when they were kids, when they weren't superheroes, and that's a shame. I'm trying to remember the kid's name, but the one that is handicapped, he is the only saving grace of the movie. He was also in It, I think both It movies. He's the only saving grace in the movie. I enjoyed him when he was in the movie, and he's in the movie quite a bit. But the scenes where they're actually like superheroes and they're flying, and how I referenced Superman 78? Christopher Reeve's flying in Superman 78 was more believable than the flying scenes in this movie. They literally looked like they were on wires. When you look at like Man of Steel, that in its CGI, that looks amazing. When he's in flight, it looks real. But I don't know if it's a budget issue, but it really looked bad in this, and that kind of takes you out of the movie. So, pretty generic third act, and really at the end of the day, guys, Shazam: Fear of the Gods, it's forgettable, and I think it's epically forgettable. That's pretty much my review of this movie. I'll probably never watch it again. Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, because I do like to give a nugget of good in every review, I'm curious to see what little kids would think of this movie, because they might enjoy this. They might really enjoy this. And I will say, the advanced screening crowd that I saw this movie with, the guy sitting next to me, he was laughing his ass off the entire time. Like, have you guys ever been to a theater and there's that one guy that you can tell he's super excited to either A, be at a new movie, or B, he just loves the property. Or maybe he just loves everything that DC puts out. And you could apply that to Marvel too. There are Marvel fans that they will go to any Marvel movie and it's going to be like freaking The Godfather. They're going to have the time of their lives. They're going to be laughing at stuff that's probably not even that funny. And that's fine. That was my one piece of enjoyment out of this movie, was the guy sitting next to me. He was so loud with his laughter, but in a good way. And it was kind of infectious. I was enjoying him enjoying the movie. I wasn't enjoying the movie at all, though. Okay, but it is kind of it's entertaining when you go to the theater and you have somebody that reacts to a movie like that. So yeah. I guess overall for my rating, I would give it a low, very, very low humdrum. That's what I'll say. A very low humdrum. Okay. Almost a 2 hours lost. All right. So there you go. That's my review for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. All right. All right. We got that done. Let me see what other. Oh, I do have a what if scenario for some Scream news. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay. Tell me, this is where I need your participation. Okay? I need your participation. Tell me what you think of this. This is a big what if scenario, but I did hear some people state that wouldn't it have been cool. Spoilers for Scream 6, by the way, guys. Spoilers for Scream 6, but wouldn't it have been cool if somebody from the television series had a cameo, Or I even think, what if you had the TV series Mask from the first 2 seasons show up? I think that would, like somebody, especially like on the train, the subway, when they're on the subway, because they had Pinhead and Michael Myers and all those other guys. Wouldn't it have been cool if that mask from the first 2 seasons showed up in there? I think that would have been kind of badass, actually. But who is your favorite character from the 3 seasons of Scream? That is mine, Beth. And I stated on Twitter, if Radio Silence wants to make Beth a part of Scream 7, I'll have 0.0 problems with that. I really loved this character in Scream Season 3. Again, spoilers, all right? Spoilers if you haven't seen Scream Season 3, okay? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all right? I personally thought Beth was, she was revealed to be one of the killers, and I personally thought she was one of the best killers, not full-on killers, but I'd say at least female killers. I don't know, she might, if I ranked all the killers, including the TV season killers, she might be in my top 5. That's how much I enjoyed this character. And part of the reason why I enjoyed it is because, like Charlie, she was a horror fan. She was that one character throughout the show that was constantly dropping, name dropping horror movies and talking about the rules. And, to me, that's just so much more fun when that person ends up being the killer. And I think she's quite a bit more entertaining than Charlie was, And I like Rory Culkin, and I don't hate Charlie as a character, but I think Beth was so much better. And, why not? I think it would be so cool in Scream 7 if they somehow, now obviously, she would be, I don't know, I don't think the TV series would be canon, though, because the TV series didn't reference the movies at all. It was a completely different world. So, she could still be Beth in this, it'd almost be like a Scream alternate universe. I don't know. I would love it, though. I would love it. Sebastian says she was forgettable. Well, I guess not for me. I haven't forgotten her. Chris says Beth was my favorite killer from the series. Yep. Alex Roof says, I haven't even thought the TV series in years. Really, Alex, the only thing that I remember about the TV series, and I did rewatch it last year. I went through it again. But she's the one thing that sticks out to me. And funny enough, most people seem to hate the 3rd season out of all 3 of them. I like the 3rd season, and I think it's refreshing that the 3rd season is very different than the first 2 seasons. It has nothing to do with the first 2 seasons. And I think it's darker, and you had a little Candyman mashup in there, which was really cool. So I think the season 3 had some things going for it, for sure. I think all 3 seasons had, their pros and cons. Like Dave Vanderhoff says, I got some enjoyment out of season 1 and 2 as well. I did. Now it's been a while since I watched it, so I don't remember. I remember the faces of the killers in the first 2 seasons, but One thing that's interesting about the first 2 seasons too is that one of the main good guy characters in season 1 ends up being a suspect, in season 2, which I thought was kind of a cool little angle, which they have tried that. Yeah, they did that with Scream 6. By the way, guys, when Kirby was pinned as the red herring, that at the 11th hour in the movie, did you roll your eyes? And how far in the back of your head did you roll your eyes? And did any of you think, "Ooh, she could be the killer"? And it's one of those situations where they came right out and said, "Holy shit, this is it. She's the killer." And you're like, "Yeah, right, bullshit." So, yeah. Pretty Little Liars, Kinsey. I think it's one of those shows where I bounced in and out of it. I caught I never started it from the beginning though. And so I might have to check out Pretty Little Liars. All right? I might have to. Okay. I guess one more thing, actually, you know what? I'll just say, what's the evil? Let's go to the, let me take that off. Okay. So we did the Beth. Now let's go down here. Yeah. Blood is disgusting. And is that it? Okay, and then let me go over here. Okay. I got to turn off my... I hate having to turn off my pop-up blocker, but some of these sites, especially the news sites, they make you do it. It's a pain in the butt, though. Because it slows my computer down, and I hate that. By the way, I had a weird dream last night, guys. Very weird dream. Hold on, I'm going to tell you. Hold on. Yeah. So last night I dreamt that this is what you call one of those digital technology dreams. I dreamt that I lost my phone at the beginning of the dream. And then I was editing something on my computer, and then my computer died. And then I noticed that my YouTube channel was gone, and then I lost my computer. I shit you not. I swear to God. That was and I woke up almost in a pool of sweat. I was like, holy, the thought of, and some of you YouTubers that have been doing this for quite a few years, the thought of your YouTube channel, being taken down or accidentally being deleted, that's a scary thought. It for all that hard work that you put into it. And, man, I woke up, I was like, oh my God, you ever woke up from a dream and you're thanking God that was just a dream? That's the way it was, because it felt so real. And I was just in a panic, what the hell's going on? Somebody call somebody. And then, luckily I woke up and I was like, oh, okay. I literally checked my channel when I woke up just to make sure it was there. I should have known better because my computer was there, But yeah. All right, let me close some of these freaking windows. Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise. All right. Let me close that. Okay. Yeah. Bloody Disgusting, Evil Dead Rise. Make sure that's up there for you guys. Okay. So the big news about Evil Dead Rise is they had a showing at what is that? Is it SXSW? Guys, what does that stand for? I didn't do my homework on that. I'm sure it'll say in the story, though. Gnarly crowd pleaser forges bloody new ground for the franchise, which I'm not surprised. I had a feeling this was going to be a big hit, at least with critics. Let me read a little bit of this. This is a review, actually, from Bloody Disgusting. Let me read the guy's name that reviewed it. Hold on. Or female, I'm sorry. Megan Navarro. I do apologize. Okay. This is spoiler free. Says a lakeside cabin opening sequence in Evil Dead Rise, written and directed by Lee Cronin, operates as a declaration that the latest installment of the franchise will fit snugly within the world of Evil Dead while branching out into new terrain and ideas. I like that. That means a self-contained story that brings the gnarly gore and deadite thrills, even when its lore isn't quite as well defined as its visceral terror. Touring guitar technician Beth, hey, that's funny, I just said Beth, takes one look at her pregnancy test while at work and decides to reunite with her estranged sister Ellie for guidance. It's been months since Ellie heard from Beth, and she has problems of her own to contend with. She's now a single mother and 3 kids, Danny, Bridget, and young Cassie, and needs to move thanks to a crumbling high-rise apartment in a dire state of despair. The reunion between sisters gets cut short when an earthquake strikes near Los Angeles neighborhood, opening up a pit in the building's garage that unearths the Necronomicon. I'm not going to read anymore, okay? Just because this is just a full-on review, and I don't think I need to read you guys the entire review. You get the gist that this is, early reviews are extremely positive for this. Although, did you guys see the troll? And I guess he said this movie sucks, and then Bruce Campbell told him to get the fuck out of here. Which, and then I will say some people said that was set up. Now, and I'm not saying it's not set up, but my question is, why would you set that up? You know, like that doesn't really make, because you have a guy basically saying that he didn't like the movie, you know? So I don't quite understand the reasoning for going that route. I mean, you have a million different ways to market your movie to get buzz. And the one way they want to get buzz is to have a troll. And was that verified? I don't know. Maybe you guys can chime in on that one. I have no idea. Blu-ray Addict says, yeah, that guy got up at the Evil Dead premiere and yelled, "This movie sucks. What an asshole." Yeah. Who's the man with the master plan, House of Pain? Tim Allen movie? I don't think so. The guy was Drunk Apparatus. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I know some people were stating, though, that it was set up. It was a hoax. I don't know. I'm puzzled trying to figure out why that would be. But Evil Dead Rise does come out next month. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm a massive Evil Dead fan. And somebody actually stated today, and this is a good topic, which franchise do you guys think is more consistent, you know, as far as like good to great movies? Would you say Scream, or would you say Evil Dead Rise? Scream or Evil Dead Rise? I'm really curious. South by Southwest. Thank you, Eddie E. That's I'd heard that before. South by Southwest. Yeah. So Glenn Gruesome says Evil Dead. Aaron says Scream. Vinny says Scream. Scream, easy, Scream. So yeah, most of you. I think the reason people say Scream, especially when you use the word consistent, is they are all in line with each other. And, if you could just go by consistent meaning plot-wise, of course it's Scream. And I applaud Scream for not going on the remake route when they could, because the franchise has been around for over 25 years. So I think it's, again, I applaud Scream for at least maintaining. And even the first time I saw Scream 6, even though on my first watch I didn't care for the movie, I still thought it was a decent Scream movie. You know, it wasn't like a complete piece of shit like most franchises have. So, now, I will say Evil Dead is a consistent franchise in terms of quality of films. I don't think there's a single bad movie in Evil Dead. And if anything, if you're looking for a little bit more variety, I think Evil Dead might win, because, you might be in the mood for the darker Evil Dead movie, and so you have a couple movies to choose from. And you might be more in the mood for the slapstick comedy type. So, but all 4 movies are, I think, top notch. And it looks to be that this 5th movie is going to be top notch. So, I think it depends on what you're looking for. And I think both franchises are awesome. Awesome. So this is definitely my second most anticipated movie of the year, but behind Scream 6. So now I guess it's my first since I've seen Scream 6. All right. Now let me ask you guys this. Do you want me to give you the 7 funnies first before we jump into the ranking? Or do you want to do the ranking first and then jump into those quick 7 funnies? All right? I'll let you guys decide. I'm going to turn on my fan. And I'm going to get a drink. Ranking, funnies. Let's see, I don't know. Ranking. It's like dead even right now. Chappie, what's up, man? He says, my personal favorite comic book movie is Watchmen. Watchmen's definitely up there. Watchmen's... I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely top 10. Like, I really love Watchmen Director's Cut. Wow, that is a great freaking movie. I think ranking's slightly going to win. So, unless there's a line of funnies that drops within the next 5 seconds, I guess we're gonna go for ranking. We'll do the ranking first. All right. Too late, Chris. Guys, I had a free... Somebody mentioned John Wick. Yeah, right. Nice, Chris. Somebody mentioned John Wick Chapter 4 in the chat. I freaking missed out. I could have went and seen a press screening for it, but I didn't get the invite, and it's Lionsgate, but I guess my one of my press buddies, we help each other out. You know, I throw you an email, you throw me an email, you know, and we can get in, like, we can pretty much get into any press screening, I guess, you know, by helping each other out, you know, because this guy has these studios and this guy might have these studios, and, you know, once you're in, you're in. But I thought I had Lionsgate on my list, but I guess I didn't. But although I could have sworn I've seen some Lionsgate press screenings, but yeah, But yeah, I guess it's kind of a good thing because I saw Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and I guess the night before was John Wick, and John Wick's like a 3-hour movie, and I'm sure it's amazing. But to go to the theater back to back, seeing a 3-hour movie followed by a 2-hour movie, I don't know. I might have been exhausted anyway, so I'm just gonna wait and see it on the weekend, I guess. But I hear it's amazing. Okay, Chris, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. All right. So we're gonna jump into this ranking, guys. All right. This is going to be fun. I've been looking forward to this, and the ground rules are all 19 movies. I thought about including the producer's cut, but I thought, what's the point in that? You know, even though the producer's cut is going to be in a very different place than the theatrical cut. All right, I'll tell you right now. I much prefer the theatrical cut. I don't like the third act of the producer's cut at all. There's some merit in that cut, in the character development department, but overall, give me the theatrical all day, or my own cut. You know, honestly, I watch my own cut, and that's not me patting myself on the back. It's just I get to have the best of both worlds, so it's nice. So. But what other ground rules are there? I think that's it. All 19 movies. That's it. Worst to best. Ranking, Scream, and Halloween. This is going to be fun. All right. So let me go where did I put it here? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Let me go down to the last one. Now, I'm going to probably clip this out. And when I clip it out, I'll add the numbers up there, probably between Ghostface and Myers, okay? But for me to add numbers to every one of these, I could put the number on the movie poster, but I didn't want to do that, all right? So you guys get to see it live. You're not going to see the numbers. I will, of course, tell you the number. So this will be number 19, all right? Number 19. And, hey, guys, as we're going along, I hope you have your list already filled out, and you can tell me your number 19. So, guys, what is your number 19 of ranking these two franchises? All right, and I'm just going to go through each movie quickly. I'm not going to spend a freaking whole dissertation on each movie. Okay, seeing some Resurrection in there. All right, so it is, of course, Halloween Resurrection. That's an easy one. You each get 1 point for that one. Okay. Once we get higher, I'll give you bigger points. Okay. Holly put Scream 3. Now, in Holly's defense, I could say that there might be a day or two where I probably would prefer to put in Halloween Resurrection over Scream 3. You know, I guess it depends on my mood. All right. But for this, you know, and by the way, guys, this is going by entertainment value for the most part for me. I'm not rating this by this director used this type of lens and this cinematography trumps this. No, I'm not getting super technical here. I'm just going by my personal entertainment value. And by the way, guys, my ranking, okay? My ranking. I have that right, and you have that right too. So don't get mad at me, all right? All right. So yeah, Halloween Resurrection, big thing. It's just a joke of a movie, you know. But I think I don't have a major problem with Busta Rhymes. I like Busta Rhymes as a character. It may be in another movie. I think he's fun, but the big problem with this movie is he's making a joke out of one of the most lethal serial killers of all time, which is Michael Myers. And I just don't think you do that. You just don't do that, okay? My boy Myers, you know, you look at like Myers in this movie compared to Myers in, say, like even Rob Zombie's Halloween, you know? That you can't see that Myers in a scene with Busta Rhymes. You know, and guy, Freddy's a fun character. He really is. And I never hold anything against Busta Rhymes and Freddy as a character. I have a good time when he's on screen, but it does annoy me when, you know, the way he treats Myers as a character. That's not Myers to me. All right. Even though Brad Lorre, he's not the worst Myers in my opinion. It's just the movie itself. It feels really weird. You know, this whole reality TV type thing, which was kind of groundbreaking, I think, for its time. And I know Rick Rosenthal wanted to release 4 different endings, which is kind of cool. So it'd be 4 different shit movies. But yeah, so Resurrection, number 19. Number 19. Okay. So number 18, could it be a Scream movie? Guys, let me know what's your number 18. Could it be a Scream movie? Could it be a Halloween movie? You know, I'm being fair about this, all right? I really thought hard about this. So my number 18 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween. Again, and I'll try to point out things that I like about these movies, okay? Like I said, Michael Myers in this movie is fucking epic. And if I can say anything, the Michael Lives documentary is the reason why you buy this movie. Or you buy it because you just love this movie, Rob Zombie's Halloween. You might, you know, I like Rob Zombie, but this is definitely not my favorite movie of his. I think it feels way too disjointed. It feels like 2 different movies. I know Rob Zombie himself doesn't really care for this movie, and especially the experience of shooting this movie. He didn't like it at all. I know that the work print had an ending that is in the theatrical cut, but it just stops abruptly right after Myers pulls Laurie out of the car. And then the cops shoot him, and then that's the end of the movie, and you get a crane shot. But then in the theatrical cut, they wanted to go further and get the ending that we got. And I don't have a problem with that ending, but I just think the movie kind of feels exhausting. I think that's what it is, you know? Don't like the beginning of it. Ronnie's another character like Freddy that I can enjoy on his own, but in a Halloween movie, he's kind of like, whoa, that's a weird way to start a Halloween movie, okay? So, there's your number 18. Nathan Mills says Halloween 3 is his number 18, I think. Or is he saying his number 7? Yeah, Nathan's giving his ranking right. Nathan, don't blow your load so quick, my friend. Do it along the way, okay? Because then people are going to forget about these rankings along. They will remember Nathan's ranking if you do it as we do it, you know? Because now that you're giving your ranking, what's going to happen when we, you know, get down the road? You're going to be like, damn, I already posted my ranking. Poor guy. All right. Yeah, Scout Taylor Compton, she earned her money that day. And I don't mean that in a good way. And it's not her fault. But, yeah, that much screaming? Jesus Christ. Okay? All right. So that was number 18. Number 17 is Scream 3. All right, now we've gotten to Scream 3. I think Scream 3, it's different than the rest of the franchise. And one thing I will say about the Scream franchise is every single movie, I think they do have their strengths and something different that they offer the franchise as a whole. You know, I think Scream, the first one, is just a great freaking bona fide slasher movie. Whodunit. I think Scream 2 has some more like theatrical, almost even like Italian horror type elements to it. You know, and then Scream 3 is more camp, you know, and I think Scream 3 goes for more of a comedy element than most of them do. And I like Rob Zombie's Halloween. I think Scream 3 is a little bit more disjointed because there are some parts of this movie, like every time we're focused in on Sydney, it's awesome. I love it. And we get a damn good final act. And if I was to rank the final acts, I definitely wouldn't put Scream 3 last. Okay? But as a full movie, it's fun. And I have a good time with Scream 3. And there's been times when Scream 3 moved up my ranking for Scream. You know, but as of now, as of today, it's last in my Scream ranking. And it's 17th in my ranking with Halloween. Yeah, so 17. So now we're on number 16. See, we're rolling through these, guys. See, I'm not going to drag it out too long. All right? So 17. All right. 16. What do you guys think 16 is going to be? Let me take a drink. Tom Hungren says 17 is Halloween 6. Okay. See, I like that you guys are putting, because that helps me too. 16, Halloween 5. 16 is Scream 3. Halloween 5. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. See, a lot of I love this. Scream 2 for Holly. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's the great thing about these two franchises, especially Halloween. I mean, there's a lot of variety in these. And the thing I like about Halloween that's the opposite of Scream is it's kind of a choose-your-own-adventure type deal. You don't want to go down the Rob Zombie road. You want to go down the Laurie Strode road, one of 3 roads. You know, you can do the David Gordon Green trilogy. You can do just your traditional Halloween 1, 2, and H2O. I like that about Halloween. I do. Okay, so number 16 for me is going to be Halloween 5. Halloween 5. I've said this before. I'm kind of in a love affair with this movie over the last few years. I do like the European feel of the movie. Dwight Othenin-Girard. Is he the only foreign director out of the entire franchise? Guys, am I right on that? He might be. And it shows. This definitely has an eccentric vibe to it, you know? And there are things that I, like Holly saying right there, this is the Giallo Halloween film. I mean, all the way down to the Man in Black. The Man in Black looks like a Giallo killer, you know? You watch, there's a Giallo movie I've been watching, Blood and Black Lace. And the Giallo killer in that movie, he, you know, reminds me of the Man in Black. So, by the way, Blood and Black Lace, I love that movie. 1968, I think. That's a review that's coming soon too. But yeah, Halloween 5, as eccentric and weird as it is, it does have some greatness in it. I do love the final act, especially, I love. I think Loomis has some great moments, but he's not always great. But I do love that scene when he's in the woods at the end and he's talking to Myers. Like, anytime there was a moment between Myers and Loomis, and that's something that's just gone from the franchise forever. We'll never see that again, you know, unless they do a reboot. But even in Rob Zombie's movies, I don't think you really had those. You had those moments, but not like when Donald Pleasance was in there, you know. And I do love that scene, you know, go home, Michael. I love that stuff. The middle of the movie is the very problematic part of it. Maybe it's the daylight, and I don't really like all the music choices in the middle of the movie too. Although I do love White Sister. They have a song in the movie, which is excellent. But yeah, it's a very problematic movie. It's not a great Halloween movie by any means, but I think it's fun. I do think it's fun. And like I said, it does have some great moments in it. And I put the poster for the Dr. Death cut, which I made my own Dr. Death cut. So in my Dr. Death cut, you will not see the old hermit. It's the Dr. Death. And I think the Dr. Death cut's better. I do. So, yeah. So now we are on to number 15. 15. So go ahead and start loading your 15s up in there, guys, okay? Load it up. Load it up. Number 15, because it just says posters. I don't even know what it is. So 15 is Scream 5. Scream 5. Let's see what you guys say. 15, Halloween 2, Scream 5. So Crawford, he's with me on that. Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween Ends. See, as this list goes lower and lower, or I guess higher and higher, I got a feeling all your answers are going to be different. You know, Halloween 4. Vinny, what are you saying? Halloween 4, 8, 5 out of 10. Or is it 8.5 out of 10? That's your number 15? Okay. Yeah. All right. So 15, H2O, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Okay. So, yeah, for me, it's Scream 5. I've come around to Scream 5 a little bit. It's, I think there's a lot of fun to be had, and I think one of the problems I always complained about when I first saw it was the predictability. But after you've seen it, quite a few times, which I have, that kind of just sheds away, and you don't really focus on that as much. And there are elements of the final act that I actually do enjoy now on repeat watches, especially how they play around with the whole toxic fandom type thing. I think some of that's really fun. And it fits in with today perfectly. I do love that Amber, the way she revealed herself, because everybody's pointing their finger. That's kind of cool when the two killers, when you first watch this movie and you don't know that they're two killers, they're both saying, "You're the killer." They're misdirecting the other person. And then she goes, "Of course I'm the killer." And then she blows her head off. I was like, that's a damn good way to reveal a killer. I actually enjoyed that. It was different. So, I think the biggest problem I have with Scream 5 is they kind of wasted Sydney, and I think I'd almost rather her not be in the movie than to be wasted. And maybe it was a good thing that Sydney was not in Scream 6, if that's all they're going to do with her. And I'll even say this: I think Gail is used much better in Scream 6 than she is in Scream 5. So, now let me ask you guys this. In the hospital scene, when supposedly it's Amber that kills Dewey, I've heard so many theories about this that's actually Stu that kills her. And if, in Scream 7 or even Scream 8, if Stu does end up showing up in this movie, wouldn't it be cool if they did a flashback and they showed that because I guarantee you, if we find out Stu is alive, we're going to also find out that he might have been responsible for a few of these killings, which that's something that's never been done before either. Yeah, when Roman was the killer in Scream 3, they changed things up a little bit plot-wise. But as far as the kills, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was Roman that did any of the kills from Scream 2 and Scream that won the first one. He just kind of orchestrated some things. So, yeah. But yeah, Scream 5 is my number 14 or 15. 15. Am I right on that, guys? So are we on 14 now? Let me know. I think we're on 14. Okay. Chester's getting Chester, what the hell? What do I have to do, Chester? What do I have to do? All right, I'm just kidding, Chester. All right. Okay, 14. Here we go. 14. Number 14 for me is, and I see T. Parker says Halloween 6. Stu Live says Halloween 5. Curse. H2O for Ty. Halloween 3. See, I told you they're going to start getting a lot different. All right, so my number 14 is H2O. This is my least favorite Myers. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like his eye holes. and even the performance I have problems with. But overall, I think H2O is a fun gateway horror movie. Especially for like Halloween fans. Like I would even tell somebody that's never seen a single Halloween movie, I would say you'd probably enjoy H2O. Especially if they're not like a massive horror fan, like if they're not like into Grindhouse or anything like that. They just want something that's entertainment. I would probably say H2O. Go ahead and watch H2O. But for me, as a massive Halloween nut that really loves, the Loomis, the darkness, and the evil and all that stuff, it ain't H2O. This ain't it. All right, this ain't it. The constant changing masks kind of ruin it for me. But the big saving grace, I will say, about this movie is Laurie Strode. And I'll even say this. Better Laurie Strode. I think best Laurie Strode out of the entire franchise, except for the first movie. If you're going to do the adult Laurie Strode, H2O is your movie. I will definitely give it that. But it is the Dawson's Creek, type slasher movie. It does feel a little bit too CW for me. Again, I like my Halloween movies to be kind of dark and brooding and moody, And again, this ain't it. This ain't it. Okay, so. But that is my number 14. So now we are on number 13, guys. Number 13, go ahead and start listing them. Number 13, here we go. And my number 13 is Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018. Number 13. I was talking about that whole dark and evil and moody stuff. This movie does have that. I do love that. James Jude Courtney is freaking amazing in this. I love that everybody was so excited about Nick Castle coming back to this movie. And remember when this movie first started getting buzz, in pre-production and all that stuff, we were how we didn't know who Myers was going to be if it wasn't going to be Nick Castle for the whole thing, And then along comes James Jude Courtney, and holy shit. Just insanely good Myers. Guys, tell me right now, is James Jude Courtney your favorite Myers? I think he might be my favorite Myers. He really makes it count. And he's the only Myers I think that's been in, the primary Myers. Okay, the primary Myers. He's the only one that's been in 3 of the movies. But there are some really great elements of this movie. The build up to the unleashing of Myers, the opening scene at Smith's Grove Sanitarium. I remember when I first watched this, man, I was really getting those goosebumps from the earlier sequels in the movie. This is the first time I actually felt that darkness again, the evil, because Rob Zombie's movies, they just felt different to me. I didn't feel the evil, the blank slate that Myers is. I didn't get that from Rob Zombie's movies, but this gave me that. This gave me that. And when Aaron and Dana walk up to that line, you could feel Myers' energy there. You could feel his presence, and I think James Jude Courtney kept that vibe throughout the whole movie. I just think the execution of some of the shots was lacking, especially Vicky's death. They had the freaking chess pieces set up perfectly to really deliver a jaw-dropping scene, and they dropped the ball, I think. Sartain, again, I love Sartain as a character. I wish he wouldn't have died, honestly. I think it would have been cool if Sartain would have lived throughout all 3 movies and we could kind of explore, or maybe even like a flashback, explore his relationship with Myers, because he was a very interesting character. I just don't think his demise played out in a compelling way. It really kind of it was kind of hokey, him putting on the mask and everything. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. There's a lot you could play with, because he was kind of the anti, or the Bizarro Loomis is what I like to call him. And you could play around with that, because I think the guy was a really good actor. He sounded like Loomis. So, yeah. So, but still a very effective entry in the franchise for sure. Okay, so number 13. All right, guys, number 12. Number 12. And let me close that one off. Okay. All right, so start listening to your number 12s. Scream 4, T. Parker Evans. Okay, my number 12 is, and guys, starting with number 12, I'm going to say, I think most of these movies, for me, entertainment-wise, are 4 out of 5, at least. That's how much I love all these 12 movies. 4 out of 5, okay? Know that going forward, all right? Number 12, Vinny gets it, Halloween 3. Halloween 3. God, I freaking love this movie. As a matter of fact, I have a funny for Halloween 3 once we get done with this. But, it's refreshing to have a Halloween movie that doesn't involve Michael Myers. And I might repeat that sentence later in the countdown. But yeah, it's very refreshing to have a movie that kind of steps outside of it. And a lot of people stated that like this would have been more well received if it wasn't called Halloween 3. It should have just been called Season of the Witch. I kind of disagree. I think this movie is kept afloat because it's called Halloween 3. And I think if it would have just been called Season of the Witch, it might have just kind of dissolved in time. I think people... So at least Halloween, when you see that, and a lot of people, when they saw that, when this movie first came out, they were like, that put them in the, got them to watch the movie. And they hated it at first. But then, years later, they came around. And now a lot of people appreciate this movie, I might say that later too. I might be predicting the future, but yeah, we'll get to that. But Tom Atkins, freaking Tom Atkins, Stacey and Elkin. I love the two of them together on this. And Tom Atkins is just Dan Chalice is a very interesting character because they don't establish him as your quintessential good guy. In other words, he's a flawed man. He's a guy with problems, but you can't help but root for the guy. And I guess he's that like stoic male that you don't see as much of these days. But back then, there were a lot. I think there were a lot of he's kind of like Clint Eastwood. Just a badass. And you give me some Tom Atkins, and you could do a lot worse. I'm good with that. But I also loved Colonel Cochran, how the guy was completely fucking insane, out of his mind, and all he wanted to do was kill every kid on the planet Earth. Which I love that, and I love that they don't really give too much of a reason why, which is kind of what makes Halloween, good when it is done right. That mystery, that not knowing, that. So I guess that element is kind of in both Myers and Halloween 3. And I think that's a reason why these two worlds could occupy the same space, same universe down the line. I don't know. We'll see. Hell, I would even love a sequel to Halloween 3, if I'm being honest. I think that would be, or maybe even a TV series that's just based around Halloween 3. I think that'd be amazing. Sebastian says, Drumdums, you should make a video talking about what if Halloween 3 succeeded and the whole franchise became an anthology. Sebastian, I've thought about that, actually. And I do think if it succeeded and we got more movies, I think eventually we would have seen Myers again, just because of how effective he was as a killer. And I think both worlds could have, occupy, but the titles would have gotten a little. So I think Halloween Season of the Witch, any sequels to that, maybe they would have taken off the number and it would just been called Halloween : whatever the title is. I don't know. And I'll even say this, guys. with how successful that last trilogy was and how much chatter it raised for not only Halloween but Season of the Witch, I think the future's bright for Halloween. And don't be surprised if we do get another anthology movie. And it could be the next Halloween movie. It really could. Don't be surprised, okay? I wouldn't be. And I was just thinking about that the other day too. Like now that this trilogy's gone, I think we're going to hear some news sooner than later, because you want to strike while the iron's hot, and timing is extremely important. You don't want to go too soon, but I would bet, and I'm calling it now, that by next year, I think we're going to hear some news about the future of the Halloween franchise. They're not going to sit too long on this. They're going to want to get back to work. There's money to be made in this franchise. So, yeah, I think it's going to happen. Okay. All right, so that was number 12. All right, number 12. All right, number 11, guys. I'm going to jump right into it. Number 11 is Scream 4. Scream 4. Again, love this freaking movie. I think as far as because I was talking about earlier how every Scream movie has their strengths as far as what they're trying to say, or maybe even the type of movie that they are. And as far as dealing with the current climate of horror, I think I might like Scream 4 the most. Because we were I think the current climate of horror was so pronounced when Scream 4 came out with the remake craze. And so I think they covered that era of horror perfectly. And the movie didn't itself have to be a remake, which I think is kind of genius. This can cover remakes, but it's still a legacy sequel. And what other franchise has a movie that can do that? None, So, I really enjoyed Sydney in this because she had a purpose. She was there throughout the whole movie. This was still a Sydney-based movie. I think I liked that it went darker with this movie. A lot of the kill scenes were, especially what's the one she's thrown out the window? Her name escapes me, and I think I even put her on one of my favorite kills of the franchise. Again, by the way, Jill is easily one of my favorite killers of the franchise. Emma Roberts, Olivia, thank you very much, guys. Olivia. Emma Roberts completely freaking slayed. She slayed in this movie. She does the Jim Carrey "I'm kicking my own ass" scene at the end, or in the last act, which is fun. And also, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the only Scream movie that has kind of what would you call it? Like a coda? Another whole act after the last act? And it's in the hospital. I loved that, and it has one of my favorite lines from the entire movie. What are you, Michael fucking Myers? Every time she does that, I get chill bumps. I love it to death. And of course, when Sydney says, "Don't fuck with the original." I mean, you got two freaking lines in the coda of this movie, and it's awesome. It's so awesome. So, Scream 4 is really, really fun. Again, I've said this a million times. I think the cinematography is probably the worst part of the movie, but yeah, I do really enjoy Scream 4. And I'll even say there was a time when Scream 4 was my number 2 in the franchise, but the Scream franchise is so consistent that it's easy for movies to kind of shift around as they do. So yeah, Brooke, what's up? Nice to see you in here. Okay. So that was number 11. Number 11. So now, top 10, guys. Top 10 Scream and Halloween. Top 10 is Halloween 2, number 10. Another movie that I kind of had a love affair with over the past couple of years. I'll give a shout out to Brandon Tabato, who I used to live when I lived in Melbourne. He lives in Melbourne right now. So, he did a video on there. I'm trying to remember the Halloween 2 has like a different vibe, you know. It has a perfect Halloween vibe, and I think it's not just the cinematography, but there's a darkness, an edginess, a creepiness to this movie without even trying to be creepy. Do you know what I mean, guys? And I think part of that might be the time that it came out in the early 80s. Universal Studios, those movies even had like a certain look back then. You know, I was just watching like the Incredible Hulk TV series. I have those on my hard drive, and I watch them from time to time. It's just, you know, it brings me back to my childhood. But those were all Universal properties. And today I was watching, before the stream, I was watching one of the episodes of the Incredible Hulk, and Halloween 2 came to me. I was like, that looks like, you know, like the cinematography in Halloween 2. And so it's hard for me to explain, and I think Brandon Tabato probably explains it better than I do. But, you know, like Stu Liv says, the hospital setting is really creepy in this movie. And even though there's no patients in the hospital, although do we really know that? Because Michael doesn't go into like every room, and it's nighttime, so they're going to be asleep anyway. But I do love that this movie, the whole movie takes place in a hospital. It's got a really creepy hospital vibe to it. I like, even though Dick Warlock's not my favorite Myers, he is the Halloween 2 Myers, you know, and I wouldn't want any other Myers in Halloween 2, if that makes sense. He occupies that space perfectly. And I would even say Dick Warlock, the way he moves and the way he walks, fits this movie perfectly. It fits with that vibe that only Halloween 2 has. And I think, I'll even say this, Halloween 1, if they could have fine-tuned it, and I don't know if that's like a budget type thing, because these two movies were both filmed in 35 millimeter. So if they could have somehow captured the look, the feel of Halloween 2 and Halloween 1, as great as it is, it might have been even better. You know, I don't know what it is. There's just something about Halloween 2 that has that mysterious factor that I guess fits into the overall atmosphere of Halloween in general. So, yeah. My only complaint about Halloween 2 might be that it's slow moving, but that's part of the charm of the movie. Like, I don't think Halloween 2 would work if it was a fast-paced movie, if I'm being honest. So, have you guys seen the TV cut of Halloween 2? If you want to get a laugh, that is one of the craziest alternate cuts of a movie I've ever seen. It is, I've said this before, I think it feels like the editor was high as fuck on cocaine when he was putting that movie together. Or maybe he just didn't see the original version, you know? Maybe he was handed all this footage and said, hey, make this readily available for TV and go hog wild, do whatever you want. Maybe he didn't even see the original version. Maybe that's why it feels so different. But it's a gem. It's really a fun movie to watch because there's it's unintentionally funny. I guess I'll put it that way. And there are a couple of scenes that aren't in the theatrical cut. You know, like Laurie Strode, they take her shirt off and so you see her in a bra. That's one of the scenes. You got the ending. Even though the ending's the same, they add something on to the ending. You know, with Jimmy living, so we know that Jimmy lived. Which that's a question that was never answered. I think you just assume that Jimmy died. So, yeah, Halloween 2. There's a lot that you can discuss about Halloween 2, and I do love that movie. And it's, I didn't even mention the final act. Okay, the final act is probably and it is my favorite final act of the entire franchise. You know, the chase is on, the music kicks in. Oh man. And Loomis solidifying himself as probably the greatest horror good guy ever. You know, it wasn't Jimmy that saved Laurie. It was fucking Loomis. You know, Loomis gave his life for her. How awesome is that? Yeah. So that's number 10. Number 10, right? So number 9 Number 9 is Scream 6. Here we go. Scream 6. Guys, and I'll tell you right now, unabashedly, I am so freaking glad I gave this movie another chance. I really am. It is like a jolt of energy. And I think it is that one Scream movie that serves that purpose. It's your popcorn movie. Yeah, all Scream movies are popcorn movies to some extent, but this one I think takes it to another level. It's the longest. I wouldn't even believe this if you told me, but this is the longest Scream movie out of the franchise, and it feels like the shortest. That's definitely a huge pro. The plot armor is flat out appalling and completely insane. And you can tell me all day that plot armor exists in the franchise, and you're right. But this is a whole new level. This is a whole new level. And I think it was so annoying to me on the first watch that I think it kind of ruined the movie, for lack of a better phrase. And maybe that's why I was... Because, you know, at the end, when they roll Charlie out, and I'm just like rolling my... I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He's alive? Are you serious? Like, the beating, the killing that guy took... Holy shit. All in one sitting. And by the way, he was stabbed quite a few times in the previous movie too. Yes, Dewey has been stabbed 9 times. I get that, okay? Dewey should be dead. I agree with that. But this was basically shoving it in your face. Like, we don't care what you think. We know he's dead. We're going to bring him back anyway and defy all logic, okay? This takes it to a whole nother level. And there were quite a few examples of that in this movie. So, guys, as much as I really enjoyed this movie, I still stand by my complaints on it, okay? Having said that, man, great first act. Love the surprises that they had in this movie. Loved that, we get to see Ghostface in the opening. I really enjoyed... Carly, what's up? I really enjoyed that there were technically 5 killers, but, 3 killers at the end of the movie, never been done before. The final act definitely came around to me on the second viewing. It's not my favorite final act, but it gets the job done. It's definitely energetic, and I think Sam is such a great character. If anything, Sam solidifies herself as the new final girl of the franchise. Honestly, guys, we don't need Sydney at this point because that's how good Sam is. But... it still would be cool to have Sydney come back, but I don't think it's going to break hearts. In a way, you can kind of compare this to the Nick Castle thing with Halloween 2018 that I was talking about earlier, and how everybody was kind of, they were expecting Nick Castle to be in the movie more, and then when they found out that James Jude Courtney was going to be in it, there was a little bit of ruckus. But then as soon as they saw the movie, they were like, okay, we're good now. James Jude Courtney's there. So Sam is that character. She is that good in the role. And she just chews up every scene that she's in. And really, I like the core 4. I like Mindy. I love Chad, even though he should have been dead 4 times over. I loved him. So thank God the core 4 are great characters, The subway scene might be one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. That subway scene, it's like, let's make Scream scary again, if that's possible. The subway scene it's pretty freaky. It's pretty scary. I love that about this movie. So this is easily going in my collection, and I'm going to be watching it every year now, and maybe a couple times a year. It is a fun movie. I got to give it that, okay? Despite the multitude of problems, it's still fun. It's very fun. I got to be fair. Okay? All right. So, what was that? Was that number... Guys, what number am I on? Is that number 9? Was that number 9 or was that number 8? I can't remember. What number was Scream 6? Actually, I can count it. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, I can count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I should count it this way. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So it was number 9. So now we're on number 8. All right. Number 8 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Man, I freaking love this movie. You know how I was bitching about Rob Zombie's Halloween 1? Not Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This movie, to me, honestly, I think Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is nothing short of a masterpiece of a movie. It's not a Halloween movie. It feels like really like the aftermath of a trauma victim. And it's filmed in beautiful, glorious 16 millimeter. And I always wonder, like, what would a Halloween movie look like in 16 millimeter? Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is your chance. Guys, was there another Halloween movie filmed in 16 millimeter? Or was it just Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? I think it was just this one. But, you know, that's part of what makes it so great. I love the way this movie looks. I love Myers. And Myers is scary in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. You do not fuck with this guy, okay? There would be no Busta Rhymes in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. He is scary. Loved Jeff Daniel Phillips. Can't afford the new tits. Can you loan me some bones? Lines like that. This is the better written Halloween movie. And I think Rob Zombie, he was, like he said after, he was so exhausted from Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and it just wasn't a great experience that he swore up and down he wasn't going to do a sequel. And then like a year later, he had like I think they came to him first and then he had an idea and he was like, you know what? I kind of want to do this because now at least I can tell my own story, which is what he did. And you got that great opening at the hospital to kind of do an homage to Halloween 2. But then the rest of the movie is its own thing. And, you know, it was cool to go visit Covington, Georgia. And I think that's part of the charm of this movie, too, is they filmed it in Covington, Georgia instead of Pasadena. It adds a whole new flavor to the movie. And I visited Covington, Georgia, and when I did my review for this movie, revisited, I actually got to, you know, stand on some of those locations, and I got to show it in the video. And it's one of the, if you ask me what's one of my favorite videos out of the thousands of videos I've done, I think 1,700 now, this one, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 Revisited, just because I had so much fun being on location and film. I filmed the review in my hotel room, and it happens to be one of my favorite reviews. So, yeah. Absolutely adored Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Thank God for it. Yeah. I'll defend it to the death. Number 7. We are getting down to number 7. Top 7, guys. Top 7. Holy shit. Number 7. Guys, these top 7, these are big kahunas. Okay? And it started with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, honestly. But big kahunas coming up here, okay? Number 7. Halloween Ends, baby. Woo! Yeah. No regrets. Can we just, you know what? Let's talk about the internet for a second. Jesus. Some of you guys are salty as hell. I have never seen, still to this day, in my entire almost 50 years of existence, I've never seen a backlash like Halloween Ends. It was legendary. It was almost a great thing because at least it's memorable. Like nobody will ever forget how angry this movie made people. And when I step back from it, I find it really interesting. Really interesting because, you know, Prom Night remake be damned. I've never been that angry at a movie. You know, I just kind of I hated the movie. I move on. Yeah, I make jokes about it from time to time, but when Prom Night Remake came out, I wasn't like holding, you know, picketing on the side of street corners. You know, I wasn't trying to ruin people's day. It was another level, and you know, I literally had people say that there's unsubbing my channel because I didn't like Halloween Ends, and I was like, there's the door, you know. To unsub anybody's channel for an opinion is kind of weird anyway. Do you want that person to agree with every single thing you say? No, I don't get that. That's weird to me. If I'm being honest, guys, because I love the movie so much, the fact that some of you hated it made me like it more. I can't control that feeling. It just happened. Okay, it made me love the movie more. But I'm not bullshitting you. I love this movie. It is so refreshing. I've watched it so many times. I do look at it as its own story, but I still see it as the third in the David Gordon Green trilogy. And when I watch all three of those movies back to back, it fits. It really does kind of fit, you know? And I think it's hard to see that even for me. When I first watched the movie, I was like, whoa, this is different. This is very different. But, you know, again, when I did my trilogy watch, and this being kind of the antithesis of Halloween Kills, you know, you want your Myers that's just full-blown, insane, bloodthirsty, not to be fucked with Myers. That's Halloween Kills. But then what's the fallout of that? What is the result of that? That's Halloween Ends. You know, I like that they say, hey, yeah, this guy is pretty much your deadliest slasher killer you've ever thought of, but he's still occupying a human body, and there's going to be repercussions. And 4 years later, we saw that, you know. And also, I've compared this to like movies like The Unforgiven, which is one of the greatest freaking movies I've ever seen in my life with Clint Eastwood. William Money. Guys, I guarantee you, watch Unforgiven with that in mind, and then go and watch Halloween Ends. You might appreciate Halloween Ends more, because Unforgiven is that story. It's the story of this guy who was the most deadliest, lethal gunslinger. I mean, just him walking into a room sent chill bumps down everyone's spine. He was that deadly. And then The Unforgiven takes place at the end of his life, and him having, you know, his war-torn body beaten down, and how this woman just kind of softened him as a person, and his kids. So you can apply a little bit of that to Myers in this, about how 40 years or 45 years or whatever of, you know, just constant turmoil and killing and death, it's going to take a toll. And, you know, he's still a freaking 70-year-old man. And then, you know, I think it all depended on Corey. I loved Corey as a character, but some of you didn't like Corey as a character, and I think that might be one of the reasons why people hated this movie, because it leaned on Corey. It was Corey's story throughout the whole movie, and it was jarring at first. But I remember watching this movie in the theater the first time, and the thing that worked is they locked me in, you know. And I knew that Myers was going to eventually show up, but I didn't need him to show up at the beginning of the movie. I just wanted to settle in and let David Gordon Green tell his story. And I got into it. Man, I just loved the movie to death. And I loved the whole vibe of it. I loved Allison and Corey. I think this is my favorite version of Allison out of the whole trilogy. So, yeah, man. You know what? At the end of the day, 13 movies in a franchise, I thank God that we have Halloween Ends. I really am, you know, because it ain't the ending that everybody wanted, but it's definitely the ending that I wanted. And what I mean by that is, before I saw this movie, I wasn't saying I want them to tell a completely different story and don't lean on Myers the whole movie. I want to be surprised. That's what I wanted out of this movie, okay? And could they have given me a shit movie? And maybe, yeah, of course they could have. But my opinion, I was enthralled by it. I loved it. But after all that, I was just really just in awe of the reaction of this movie and how angry. I guess that's just a testament to how people love the franchise, you know? But it is a choose your own adventure franchise that can go really kind of anywhere. So, yeah. Sebastian says, Drumdums, I remember your review. You were in the middle of it, turned to your wife and said, I'm really enjoying this. And I saw, yeah, and that's exactly what happened. I remember it was probably the first quarter of the movie, And it was like, I remember the exact moment when I turned to my wife and I was like, wow, this is actually interesting. It's when Corey was at the bridge and the band geeks, and that music kicked in that sounded like Christine. And I think that's what triggered me. And Corey being this, looking at what he went through at the beginning of the movie and this, tragic event that happened and how he can't really pull himself out of it. He is tainted by the evil. The evil wants him because he's so weak emotionally, and that's what the evil does. It attaches itself to that type of person. And that moment when that music kicks in and he's on the bridge and they're like, beating him up. And I looked at my wife and was like, this is really interesting. She's like, I'm loving this. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, my wife she'd pretty much checked out after Kills. She was just like, I'm going to go see it. It's the last movie. And she was like, wow, that was really great. So I guess there's another opinion for you. And she's not the biggest Halloween fanatic. All right. So what was that? 7? 7. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah. So that's 7. All right. So number 7. Number 6 is Scream 2. Scream 2. And this is another one of those movies that it used to be like pretty low in my ranking. It might have even been last. And I think the big problems I had with it was I didn't care for like the Derek character and the I Think I Love You scene. Really, to me, back when I didn't like this movie, I felt like it was too much like the first movie. I think that was my big problem with the movie. And then I finally came around to the movie more when I kind of focused in on Sydney and who she was as a character in this movie. This was the first time after she had been through the, hell, and she wasn't a completely beaten down character, which that's kind of the obvious route to go in a sequel with a returning character. They made her strong from the get-go. And she of course she was, she was stressed out beyond all belief when she noticed that it was happening again, but she reacted like a hero. She never cowered, and I think that's what made me love Scream 2 is it was the second chapter of Sydney. And then I really loved the final act after a few watches with Mickey and especially Nancy Loomis. I kind of discarded Nancy Loomis for the longest time, but I think she's Laurie Metcalf did a really good job with that character. You can kind of compare her to like Pamela Voorhees, and this was just a mother that was, a psychotic type of person that wanted revenge for her son who was psychotic. I mean, where does he get it from? He gets it from his mother, and I just love the whole vibe of that final act, and two people that had two different reasons. Mickey. He was going to blame it on the movies. That was his big thing. That was his big, I'm going to get away with this because I'm going to blame it on the movies, And it's one of those cases, too, where you didn't really see too much of Mickey throughout the movie, but somehow it just worked at the end. Maybe it helped that they didn't show him too much, because when he was revealed as a killer, it was pretty hard to predict, So I think Scream 2 is one of the least predictable movies out of the franchise, too. So... yeah. Holly says, I couldn't separate Aunt Jackie from Mrs. Loomis. Roseanne, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because she's freaking cemented as Aunt Jackie. But, yeah. So, what was that? Number 6? Number 6. So, now we're going to go to number 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, yeah, number 5 is Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. I think I love the whole Dimension era of not just Halloween, but I guess horror. I mean, hell, Scream, the first 4 movies are Dimension, I really loved the darkness, the vibe. I think as far as like capturing the evil of Myers, I think Curse does it best. I loved Paul Rudd, but really, to me, this is just a visual feast of a movie. I love the cinematography in the movie. I know the story is a little out there, for some people, but this is the third Halloween movie I saw in the theater. I saw 4, 5, and 6, and it's kind of cool that all three of these movies were filmed in Salt Lake City, you know. But for me, at the end of the day, I just love the vibe. You know, if any movie has a vibe out of the Halloween franchise, I think it's Paul Rudd is a visual feast. Carly, he is. But yeah, if any guys, if you ever get a chance, look up Paul Rudd's screen test for Halloween 6. I mean, he is going for it. He's really giving it his all, and he's a great actor. He really is. You know, and he was a great actor even at that age. And I like that he went for a more psychotic Tommy Doyle. And I'll even say, I think my favorite Tommy Doyle out of all the actors that have played him is Paul Rudd. I think he nailed Tommy Doyle. I think Tommy Doyle would be a little bit psychotic, you know? But yeah, just that 90s vibe. I love the 90s vibe of this movie and how dark it was. And I've said this before. I thank God that Scream came out after Halloween 6, because if Scream came out before Halloween 6, we probably wouldn't see Halloween 6, you know? They probably would have rebooted the series and they would have went right to H2O. So we wouldn't have had that, like the Thorn trilogy. And I'm a big fan of the Thorn trilogy, and I'm not the only one, because I mean, I've seen a lot of people, a couple of you might even have a Thorn tattoo, you know? I think that's so freaking cool. So I haven't gotten a tattoo yet, but I've seriously considered getting a Thorn tattoo, because I love Thorn that much. And, oh, by the way, rest in peace, Donald Pleasance. His last performance, and I think it was a damn good one, you know? Okay. Number 4. By the way, Halloween 6 has always been in my top 3, pretty much since it came out. Except for maybe my last ranking, because of a certain movie. Okay. So number 4 is the first Scream. The first Scream. That should tell you how much I love freaking Halloween. But I can't deny how freaking amazing Scream is. And it is the best movie. And that's not just because it's the first. It's such a great freaking script, you know? Scream is probably one of the most important horror films ever made, and I've even stated that Scream is like the Nirvana of horror. You know, remember when Nirvana came out in 92? Yeah, I mean Nirvana, they had Bleach before that, but Nirvana, never mind, completely changed the landscape of music. Scream completely changed the landscape of horror. You know? That's a fact. Yeah, there were horror was alive, and there were different horror movies at the time, but Scream really kind of lit a fire, and it created a new genre, you know? And I think still to this day, the DNA of Scream is there in pretty much every horror movie that comes out today, and you know, undeniable and unavoidable. I've noticed that there's so many movies that I watch and I'm like, that's Scream. That characters like Scream, that killers like Scream, that plot is like Scream. It's hard to avoid because it was just so profound when it came out. And it has the best final act, you know. Freaking Stu and Billy, you'll never top those two final killers. Both of them, you know, because I think most of the Scream killers, there's one big kahuna and then there's like a B-level killer, but not Scream. Stu and Billy are both equally important, and maybe I should have put it up higher on the list because it is really an important freaking movie. There are things about Scream that I think some might put on the negative side as far as what it created, because it did create the shiny, glitzy millennium slasher. That's what it's called. I like millennium slashers. I think they're fun. But I think they can be kind of one-dimensional. But I don't think Scream's one-dimensional. I think Scream is a very character-driven, story-driven movie that works so freaking well, you know? So, I mean, I could freaking talk for an hour about how important Scream is. It really is. And there'll never be another Scream movie as good as the first. You know, I'd be shocked if there is. It's whatever your number 2 Scream movie is, number 1 is Scream 1 is like still that far above it. It's that good. So, yeah. Not a dull moment either. Not a dull freaking moment. And it happens to feature Halloween in it, which is kind of the reason I did this ranking, you know? Halloween is the inspiration for Scream. And that's why they dedicated like the last act to showing Halloween on the TV. And it plays kind of an important part in the plot, which is kind of cool. They even use like the music, like when they're watching it, there's a certain scene in the movie where they're using the music from Halloween, which is kind of cool, which is, ironic that in H2O they use music from Scream, right? Jesus. There you go. Now, guys, let me know, since Aaron started this up, Scream over Halloween, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the original Halloween or Scream? Obviously, you know my answer, but I'm curious to see what you guys think. I really am curious. Just let me know. Halloween or Scream? All right? Halloween or Scream? Man, this is fun. I can't believe we're down to like, what are we in the top? Yeah, we're in the top 3. Okay. Let's see. Halloween, Scream. Uh-oh. Holy shit. Really? That many say Scream is better than Halloween? Wow. Guys, I am shocked. I literally am shocked. Like, I would have never, ever guessed this. Wow. I'll have to go back and count that when I like look at the chat later, but I'm seeing a lot of Halloween pop up now, but I never expected it to be that close. Never expected it to be that close. That's you know what? Do I want to do it? Let me see. I'll do a poll. Now you got me really curious. Hold on. Where's my poll option? Is that it? Start a poll. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Halloween. Okay, guys, vote. I need to hear the answer on this. Okay, I need the answer. I won't sleep tonight if I don't get this answer. All right. Holy shit! Scream 53%. That's insane to me. I would have never guessed it. Is it a generational thing? Maybe. I don't know. Wow. Okay, everybody vote. 47 votes so far. Everybody vote. I need votes. Okay, I need votes. So now it's Halloween, but still, it's damn close. It's damn close. Okay. I mean, I honestly, I put Halloween like way above Scream, and I love Scream to death. But for me, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. All right. So, number 3, and oh boy, get ready to throw some pitchforks at me. Okay. Number 3 is Halloween Kills. I prefer Halloween Kills over Scream. If I want my freaking, like, the most vicious slasher movie I've ever seen, it's got to be Halloween Kills. And it's my boy Myers, who's my favorite. Maybe that's the thing, too, for me, guys. Is like, I put Myers so far above Ghostface that ain't even funny. And they're two completely different types of killers. So I wouldn't want Ghostface to be like Myers. But I just love who Myers is, as a character. Oh my God, that's my boy, But I think Halloween Kills was that movie that I wanted for so long. Was, Myers has always been lethal and deadly, but man, Kills really put him on steroids. And you have those. I really love that opening scene when he's under the floor and the firefighter sticks his hand down there, And then when Myers grabs his hand, you know that guy is fucked. And he just freaking puts the iron in his face, comes out and freaking slays the fire department. Oh my God, one of the best openings out of the franchise. Okay, hell, I freaking love Kills so much. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, "You're crazy for putting Halloween Kills above Scream," but hey, I'm sorry. Let's put it this way, guys. Every single day, just about it, for like the last few months, I've thought about Halloween Kills and wanting to throw it in. I don't do it, but I constantly think, man, I feel like I want to throw in Halloween Kills today. It just happens. I don't know. Even without me even wanting to think it, it just, hey, Lee, you should throw in Halloween Kills. Because it's so damn fun. The music is so on point. Somebody mentioned Rampage. Oh my God. I adore Halloween Kills. It's so freaking fun. And here's the thing too, guys. The Evil Dies Tonight thing, I'll agree with you on that. I think they definitely should have toned it down. I counted the Evil Dies Tonight when I watched it because I was curious. Yeah, they do. I think, honestly, guys, I think if they would have edited this movie to where, especially like Nurse Marion, when she says, like, does she even say Evil Dies? I know she says, "This is for Michael," or something like that. And I was like, God, that made me cringe a little bit. But I do like that this movie focused on chaos and how the town reacts to Myers and underestimating him, and they end up killing the wrong guy, which I think that would happen. And I think Halloween Kills is kind of fitting for, the divisiveness today that we have. It's like the movie that's unintentionally political, and that's the way you want to if you want to have a message in a movie and be a little bit political without shoving it down your throat. I think Halloween Kills does it the best because our world is pretty much like that these days. There's so much chaos, there's so much divisiveness, and there's so little of stopping for a second and thinking about what you're doing. And that's what happened in Kills. Tommy Doyle in this movie, even though he tried, he underestimated Myers. He didn't stop and he didn't think about this before he just, sometimes they say you should dive into anything and just go head first, but I think you should think before you dive in sometimes. And this was one of those situations. And Myers was 2 steps ahead of everybody throughout this whole movie. And I loved it. So, yeah. So that's my number 3. Oh, let me see what you guys said on the poll. Okay, hold on. So, yeah, Halloween 54%, but that's pretty damn close. All right, so in the poll. Okay. All right, so now, number 2. We know that we're done with Scream. Number 2 is Halloween 4. Man, the movie that made me the horror fan I am today. This movie, honestly, is more important to me than Halloween because of, the time it came into my life. The first Halloween movie I saw in the theater, so there's definitely some nostalgia there. But delivering in so many ways, and especially the ending. And, it's really the one movie that scared me more than any other movie in my entire life. Like a physical reaction, nightmares. This movie is really the only one that ever did it to this level. Okay, I've seen The Exorcist. I've seen other scary movies like The Blair Witch Project did kind of freak me out when I saw it in the theater. But no movie ever affected me like the ending of Halloween 4. And I think most people, say somebody that watches Halloween 4 for the first time today, they might not have the same reaction as I did. But man, I think it's one of those things too. Like, I remember the theater when that ending happened, and and it does help that it was really loud and Loomis reacting the way he did. And I just remember just this collective gasp. Packed audience, by the way. Packed audience. And everybody in the audience was just completely like, holy shit. Wow. Just when you think, he's gone, then the evil passes to somebody. And that idea could have come across as really cheesy, but it worked in this movie. Myers was scary. This might be the scariest that Myers has ever been, I think, in the franchise. George P., rest in peace, died this year, completely slayed in Halloween 4. And respect to Tom Morga, too. I love what Tom Morga did, the beginning of the movie when he's in the bandage. And I just remember that the hand falling out of the gurney, and that just freaked me out, And it maintained that tone throughout the entire movie. It never let up. And I freaking, I loved it. I loved it so much. And it's never left me to this day. Every time I watch Halloween 4, it's like it brings me back. Every time I watch it, it really just brings me back, And like Stu Liv said, Danielle Harris, it's tough to depend on she was 10 years old at the time when she did this movie. And she held it up. And then to have, and I think part of what helped was Rachel, I think it always helps when you have a two character dynamic, instead of leaning on one character for the entire movie. Their friendship and their sisterhood was a key element to Halloween 4, So that's just one reason why it'll always be, so important to me. I love Halloween 4. So, yeah, and of course, number 1 is... Oh, what was your number 2, guys? Anybody? I didn't see your number 2. Number 1 for me is going to be, of course, John Carpenter's Halloween. And really, I think the big reason for that is John Carpenter. John Carpenter is my favorite director. And, man, he has really... he just has a certain vibe to his movies that no other director can give. Xander, I always say stay metal, Ray, but good to see you in here, brother. Good to see you in here. And Xander, you made it for number 1. Of course, it's John Carpenter's Halloween. I've talked about John Carpenter's Halloween 8,000 times, I think, on my channel. I mean, it's a big reason why my channel is what it is today, if I'm being honest, So, like, what else can you say about Halloween that hasn't been said before? It's so important. Every year, it's in the top 5, usually, greatest horror films ever made. And it still is just as strong today as it was, 45 years ago now. That's insane to me that a movie has that much. I mean, guys, Halloween 2018 made $250 million worldwide when it came out. And that would not have happened if not for this movie, Myers just, he's on another level, the big 3 is the big 3 for a reason. And, think about it this way too. Myers was gone for 7 years, and he was missed. Like, a lot of people were like, damn, when are we going to see Myers back? And he came back strong in Halloween 4. But Myers, Nick Castle in the first movie is different than any other movie in the franchise. There's something very unique about him in that movie. Nick Castle had the glide down. I think he has probably the best walk, and I think James Jude Courtney tried to replicate a little bit of that. I think James Jude Courtney is like a mixture of 1 and 2 Myers, Dick Warlock. But to me, Halloween's like, despite there being some little errors, in the filmmaking department in the movie, it's a perfect movie because of how simple it is. It is so freaking simple, and to not really give you a reason why Myers is after whoever he's after, because there's an argument to be made that is he really after Laurie Strode in this movie? She was in his line of sight, and he pursued her, but there's been others that have said that it was like a victim of chance. It's like he wasn't, like, when he was an adult Myers, his initial, before he saw Laurie Strode, that it wasn't Laurie Strode. She just happened to drop off the key at the Myers house. And when he saw her, he was like, you're fucking dead. And then, he chased her throughout the whole movie. But it's that blank slate, that speech that Loomis gives, one of the greatest speeches in horror history. Perfection. So, yeah, of course, number one is John Carpenter's Halloween. But hey, I'm so glad you guys, half of you preferred Scream over Halloween, and I think that's cool. But there'd be no, I think Scream, there'd be no Scream without Halloween, because Halloween is, it's a big part of the final act. So, damn guys, this was fun. This was really, really fun, and I really enjoyed seeing your ranking along the way. That was a blast. I'll definitely clip this out. You guys want to do funnies while I still got my voice? I think we did that in like an hour. Yeah. 19 movies. Holy shit. Yeah. Let's do funnies. All right. I got some funnies for you. All right. Hold on. Do I want to put on some music for the funnies? Do I want to get another copyright strike? I'll put on Dancing on Midnight. Here we go. Hold on. From Halloween 5, of course. We got to get to the chorus. Yo, dancing on midnight. Oh man, what a song. I love that song. Shout out to Christian Hanna Horror. He, CHH, Christian. He's the one that said, you got to check out some of the other songs from that band. White Sister. I dig White Sister. They're good. Okay. So now let's do some funnies. This is a favorite band breakup notice. Okay. I'm going to read this to you guys. This is really hilarious and insane and sad. Okay. Due to the unfortunate reality of our guitarist fucking my girlfriend of almost 7 years, Witch Rot will be taking an extended hiatus. I, however, will continue the band in another space and time. Being ripe with hate, the music is slowly flowing and without a doubt will become the most devastating, torturous music I have ever created. Thanks for the support and stay heavy, Peter. Also, our drummer died. Jesus. That's a lot to unpack. Oh, God. Okay. Wow. I just saw that today, too. Oh, actually, my buddy Mims. Mims, I got to give him credit. He'll post stuff like that in the mod chat for Killer Flicks. And he posted that, and then Leela, she posted one, too. I'm going to show you. But this... I was like, I'm stealing that. That's hilarious. Witch Rot. Guys, Witch Rot? Come on, that's a great freaking band name, right? Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast in the house. What's up? Is that Darren or is that Frank? Okay. I think it's Darren. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you. It's been a long time since you left me. All right, guys, who sings that? All right. Hello, darling. It's nice to see you. I knew it was Darren. I knew it was you. It's been a long time since you left me. That's all I know of it. Come on, somebody. Can somebody tell me who that is? Or am I just old? I think I'm really old. Okay. Freaking Conway, guys. Conway Twitty, right? Yeah. Can I read that one more time? Let me just read that one more time, okay? Because this is all. Due to the unfortunate reality of our guitarist fucking my girlfriend of almost 7 years, Witchrot will be taking an extended hiatus. I, however, will continue the band in another space and time, being ripe with hate. The music is still slowly flowing and without a doubt will become the most devastating, torturous music I have ever created. Thanks for the support. Stay heavy, Peter. Also, our drummer died. Jesus. Yeah, Polly knows who it is. Conway Twitty. There you go. Okay. Man, I had to do the freaking funnies with you guys. All right. Next funny. This one's called Hetfield Courage. Okay, a lot of music ones here in here for you guys tonight. Okay, Rip Witchrot drummer. Yes, if I had a lighter, I would light it. Okay. Gonna tell my kids this was James Hetfield during the 90s. That was somebody on Twitter or no Instagram that posted that one. He does look like James Hetfield. I need courage. Okay. In other news, drummer dead. I think that's the takeaway there. Like, he spent the whole paragraph talking about how the guitarist fucked his girlfriend, and then at the very, oh, by the way, my drummer died. That is definitely James Hetfield, you know? Mustard. Okay. All right. Next one. This one's called Momoa Microwave. I like to give you a title, okay? Like the old Johnny Carson days. Okay. Rob Zombie looks like if you microwave Jason Momoa on high for 30 minutes. 10 minutes might get the job done, if I'm being honest. Master of the Forest. Okay. All right. Next one. This one's called Revenge of the Sith, the director's cut. Did you guys know that there was a director's cut? Okay. Now, guys, I'm going to have to blow this one up because I can't read that. Let me blow this up. Hold on. Okay, so let's start at the top. The Jedi will never let us be together. It isn't fair. And so Padme says, so quit. And he says, excuse me? And then Padme says, quit the Jedi Order. What? Are you going to tear the whole world down? You could just go. It's not like you lose your powers. And I'm rich. You don't have to work. You wouldn't even have to leave your lightsaber. The plot thickens. Just do what you want. And hang out with your hot senator wife. Written and directed by George Lucas. He didn't even have to go through all that. You know, I mean, it's funny, but this is kind of true. Like, what were the Jedi going to do if he said, hey, guys, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks, right? Kind of good points, if you ask me. Why? This is all Padme's fault. You know, instead of her crying, she should have been just like, you know what? Fuck it, quit. I'm rich. You know? I don't know. That's just my thinking. Okay, next one. This one's called Save the Date. Save the Date. All right, here we go. Save the date. Okay. True story here. On Saturday, March 11th, 2023, John Bender will officially serve the last of his Saturday detention. That's true. That's true. Let me get this super chat here. Hold on. Tommy Lee Jones. He says, what's up, Lee? Just dropping by to say hello. Also watched the original Suspiria for the first time yesterday. What a tremendous movie. That was, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5. I'll have you know, Tommy Lee Jones, Suspiria, probably in my top 10 favorite horror films of all time. That, like, I love. Suspiria is an experience, you know, and really, I think most Italian horror movies, you kind of got to go loose on the plot and just soak in the experience itself and the graphic violence and the color palette. And, you know, Suspiria is like, I think it was the last movie filmed in Technicolor. and it's just glorious to look at. But it's also got some crazy evil shit in it, which is awesome. It's very memorable. It's Argento's classic, but I got to give major credit to Daria Nicolodi. She doesn't get enough credit because she was a big part of that story. So it's a good witch movie. Yeah. Thank you, Tommy Lee Jones. I appreciate it. Okay. Next, that's a true story though, guys. John Bender, yeah, because remember he told him he's going to be. What did he say? You're going to be in here for the next 35 years or something like that? Yeah. Okay. This next one's called Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter. Okay. When you've been shape-shifting all night and you're too tired to change back. He turned into a dog. Guys, this is better effects than Shazam Fury of the Gods. Okay? Just so you know. And they didn't even have to use CGI, you know? Just a little trickery, angles. It's all about the angles, right, guys? I think there should have been a dog man in Shazam Fury of the Gods. Just saying. Okay. All right. Next one. This is called The Last Walking World War. Okay. The Last Walking World War. Say that 3 times real fast, guys. Okay. And there you go. Imagine if a zombie apocalypse happens and you don't have this shirt. Because, yeah, all 3 of them are wearing the same shirt, that collared shirt. By the way, guys, I really enjoyed the last episode of The Last of Us. I think it's really good. I think the series is really good. Although, I will say, and this isn't a bad thing, but, I mean, it's got heavy Walking Dead vibes. Am I wrong on that, guys? It does. And I know I've never played the video game. But that, you know, again, it's not a con. I still really like the show, but, you know, most of the time I'm thinking, it's kind of like Walking Dead, right? Yeah. Okay. Next one. This one's called The Man. And was it Leela? They gave me this one? Okay, let's unpack. So Dan Chalice, remember I was talking about earlier how Dan Chalice, he's not your normal good guy, you know? There's a little bit of a negative edge to him. So when given the opportunity to hang with his children, instead, let's party. Let's get some beers and oh man, it's great. And Ellie, right? Grimbridge. Fuck yeah. Oh man, that's my hero. Okay. All right. Next one. Yeah. Detention. Okay. The Wizard of Motherfucker. That's what this next one's called. The Wizard of Motherfucker. Okay, there you go. So, I mean, it's sometimes a funny, you need to unpack it. Sometimes it's just boom, it's right there. You know, the message is right there. And this would have made The Wizard of Oz, I think, a better movie. Although I don't want to. Wizard of Oz is a classic, okay? But you know, what if they got all that way and it was, you know, Jules, Samuel L. Jackson? It's like, the fuck you motherfuckers want. Okay. This next one is a current. I like to keep you guys current with my funnies, okay? And this next one's called. Remember the movie The Whale? The Whale. Okay. Well, this is The Whale Blunt. The Whale Blunt. Aaron, you get a shout out on this one, okay? I had to post this one. That one's really good. When you're on that good weed, but you gotta puff pass. I can't even read that without laughing. That's a really good one. Okay. Yeah. I knew ending on funnies was a good idea. Whose idea was this? Okay. I think it was good. Okay. All right. We got two more. Here we go. 2 more. This next one's called What Time? All right. What time? You never know. You know, I give a title that it's elusive. It's mysterious, right? Puff, puff, pass. Guys, what's the correct? Is it puff, puff, pass? Right? Okay. What time? What time? Here we go. Okay. When someone is making plans you have no intention of going to, so you add what time for decoration? It's another Mims one. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's Bush League. Okay. My ass hurts. Jesus. Hold on. Hey, I got my Canon Film shirt on, guys. Right? Oh, man. We went long today, but hey, it's fun. Yeah. Guys, we've all done that, right? Holly's did it. What time? What time's it going to be? No, I can't make it. There's no way I can make it. Oh, God. Yeah, Aaron, that was a good one, man. I like that one. You definitely get a shout out for that one. Yeah. Puff, puff, pass. Okay? There you go. Okay. Thank you, Rosalia. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Okay. Next one. And then we're going to reread the band one again because it's hilarious. Okay. X Trilogy. Because I don't, this was, I want to end it on a high note, and I don't think this one's like the best one, okay? The weirdest trilogy ever, right? I've watched this trilogy 3 times now, and it still makes no sense. So you got X, X2, and then X3. Is X3 about family? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the last one, let me go back. Hold on. And then we're going to close it out, okay? Here we go. Band breakup. All right. I'm telling you guys, I can't get enough of this. This is just I love a good story, and this is a great story, okay? My favorite band breakup notice. Due to the unfortunate reality of our guitarist fucking my girlfriend of almost 7 years. What's the band name, guys? Witch Rot will be taking an extended hiatus. I, however, will continue the band in another space and time, being ripe with hate. The music is slowly flowing and without a doubt will become the most devastating, torturous music I have ever created. Thanks for the support. Stay heavy, Peter. Also, our drummer died. Yeah, that is the best tweet ever. DD8. You're not lying. And also, Witch Rot, are they were they black metal? And if you're a black metal band and you want to go like even heavier because somebody fucked your girlfriend, how can you go any darker? So I'm hoping it was like an Air Supply band, so that way it gives them a lot of wiggle room, right? A lot of like, I'm all out of love. What's your favorite Air Supply song, guys? Making Love Out of Nothing at All? I wish I could play it for you, but I don't want a copyright strike. Okay. I'm going to become a groupie and follow Peter just because of I would too, Let's all look up Witch Rot and see if they actually have a page, right? And condolences on the girlfriend and the drummer. All Out of Love, Lost in Love, Making Love Out of Nothing at All. A lot of love in those Air Supply songs. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now. Making Love Out of Nothing at All, greatest love song ever written in my mind. Greatest love song ever written. Okay? Yeah. Damn, guys. 2.5 hour stream. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. This was awesome. And, also, I wanted the guitarist, about the guitarist effing his girlfriend. There is, do you guys remember the band Poison? I think Poison's still around, but Poison, all right? A little story time right before we leave, okay? I'll leave you with this. Poison's original guitarist, C.C. DeVille, okay? C.C. DeVille was driving the rest of the band crazy, and so they kick him out because him and Bret Michaels got into a big fight, right? So they get this other guitarist to come in, and his name is Richie Kotzen. Richie Kotzen was on Poison's Native Tongue, that album. I think it's their 4th album, Native Tongue. Came out in like 90, 91, 92, something like that. Richie Kotzen on that album. Side note, Richie Kotzen, still a very accomplished guitarist, plays with the Winery Dogs with Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, okay? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon there for you. But so anyway, Richie Kotzen, he fucked the drummer's girlfriend. What's the drummer for Poison's name? Ricky Rocket. Yeah, I guess Richie Kotzen, I guess, was sleeping around with Ricky Rocket's girlfriend. So immediately they booted him out of the band, and then they got CC DeVille back. So it's kind of similar to that story that I read to you 3 times. Okay. Okay. All right, guys, this was really fun. I had a blast with hanging with you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope you don't have to work. I hope you worked out throughout the week or whatever. And you get to have some fun this weekend, okay? But I always look forward to hanging with you guys. And look for some clips. I'm going to clip some of these out. And take care of each other. I love you guys to death. I swear to God. There you go. I love every one of you.